And so this is why I don't judge any of you, and I appreciate it if you don't judge me too much. I'm a soul just trying to get this message of health and wellness out to the world, and you all pump me up and help me, and that's good because I've been 15 years in a major fight to free all you guys up from suppression of this federal government, and I do it for you because I don't care about myself, but this stealing a third of people's money when you have no law to back you has got to stop. So enough of the crap. Now, let's get into some of these great questions because you guys are so good. I love it, and you guys are just doing really well here. This guy asked me about TMJ and teeth grinding and insomnia. Now let's think about this because I want you guys to help me. Because one guy asked me, what can I do? Where can I go to become a healer? And we're going to talk a little bit about that here coming up because that's what I'm grooming you all for. You know, I want you all, those that feel that inner need to give, to go out and help others. Set yourself up a practice of helping people. You know, and so this is why we're going to be like private eyes. I'm going to take you through the body and get you used to correlating different parts of your body. So as we talk about the adrenal glands and we talk about the thyroids and parathyroids, I'm going to keep it simple. The body only has a limited amount of parts to it. And we're going to be discussing those as much as we can here. Not going to be an in-depth anatomy and physiology class because not needed. And at a certain point, science loses its knowledge of truth. And so at some point, this knowledge isn't even true. So keeping it simple keeps truth simple, and everything works better. So this is why it's important, I think, that we all keep it simple. And you don't need to have a major degree to help people get well. I find that atrocious that we have to think about going to naturopathic school or we have to go to medical school, and these guys can't cure too much. And yet in 5 days, I can teach every one of you how to cure everything. And not in we're curing diseases, we're bringing the body back into a state of health, and the body means the cells. And we're doing it through the two fluids that control the health of the cells. It's that simple. And there's nothing complex about it. This is the interesting thing. Look at our economy and what's going on with the medical profession, the sucking dry of the human. Between the IRS and the medical community, they're sucking the wealth out of people, sucking them dry, impoverishing people. And both of them haven't got a leg to stand on. So, you know, it's like, oh. But, you know, we just learn and we keep going, you know, and, you know, let the God force come in. There's a karma coming, and if people only knew karma was so exacting, you wouldn't hurt another person. You wouldn't hurt anything, really. I mean, you'd understand that karma, it has a tail like a dragon. Whip your butt. So, TMJ and the grinding of the teeth, the cracking of the jawbone, and the insomnia. Now, insomnia, we're going up here to the pineal gland. The pineal gland produces melatonin, and you see a lot of people buying that. And it's a gland called the third eye, or the spiritual eye here, but it's the gland of rest and peace, etc., etc. However, when we notice that it's irritated, you know, then one doesn't rest well. And what irritates tissue? Acids. There's only two sides to chemistry always. So how easy is that? So now we're down to, you know, the jawbone, we're down to the teeth grinding, and I think you're going to find a parathyroid problem there, my friend, where you're not utilizing calcium problem, you're losing calcium in your joints and stuff, and they're popping on you, can't hold it in place right, it can get real bad. But I think if you looked at more symptoms through your body, you'd probably pick that up. That means you're not draining your sinuses or your head well lymphatically. Now, we know the kidneys control the lymph drainage of the body, and the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys control the kidneys. We also know, though, that the transverse colon has a role in this drainage as well. Don't ask me how, but I can only tell you through Jensen's work and N.W. Walker and our work here. I've seen this all over and over again. So a lot of people will have a bowel movement in the morning and their nose will start running. and they're stopped up or backed up in the bowels, their nose, they back up all through the body. So this is why I've always said the kidneys are vital to work on. The colon has always been, since the crack of dawn, the focus of man in health, actually, and the lymphatic system and the endocrine glands. That little focus right there will yield you just about any type of curing that there is. So, I would work with that and make sure my parathyroid is up. If not, take a glandular, because I don't know. The herbs that are good for the glands, you look at my adrenal gland formula, my endocrine gland formula, all the berries, if you'll notice, a lot of them are berries. They're good for the endocrine glands. If you look at saw palmetto berry, it's not only good for the prostate, it's good for the ovaries, it's good for the thyroid. So when you look at the berries seem to be the glandular foods. That's why I say eat a lot of fruits, berries, and melons, because now you're really taking on the body here. When you want to build muscle and stuff, if you want to pump the green drinks, okay, that's good for that. But really focus on the detoxification first. I think this is really instrumental in your end goal. It's like setting up a goal. And the first phase has to be to eliminate that which is blocking you from health. Because you can't build up and move the lymph system at the same time. You're trying to do two different things at the same time. You will build up. I can tell you that I see some people that are malabsorbed get skinny, and on raw. And once they fix the fruits and some salads and the herbs start fixing that, then they start putting on muscle on the same foods they were losing it on. So, it's a go figure type of thing. But when you understand that the body is an intelligent being, that it is first going to clean itself, which is obvious, and then it'll build itself. You can't rebuild tissue in an acid medium. Acids are corrosive in nature. So it always comes down to that. And I've made enough videos here to give you this knowledge with this. And so we want to keep that knowledge going. Another question here, real important, was the guy that, what's your name, Dan, on the RA. Yeah, you're up against a chronic battle, my friend. Hang in there. I'd stay away from, again, the acid fruits. Might irritate the acids in the body. It just has that ability to do that. Nightshades, you always stay away from those. Potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, stuff like that. I'd stay away from the cruciferous, the sulfur ones, because most of our RA clients have a lot of sulfur in their bodies. I'd really hit down that subacid category of fruits, the grapes, the apples, the pears, the peaches, the mangoes. A good classification for you. If you want to do some green drinks, certainly you would do the dandelion green, you would do the parsley, and you would do the beet, maybe a little spinach in there. But it's going to take you a bit. I would, like I told you before, we have an inflammation joint formula for kind of like a steroid thing. A licorice should be a great one for you. It'll enhance the adrenal glands. It acts as natural cortisol. So that would be a really good one for you, licorice root. FDA doesn't like it. You know what? They don't like anything that's good, and there's no reason. Alkaloids are alkaloids. We don't extract alkaloids, so that's insane thinking. That's pharmaceutical companies, remember? So that'll help you out there. And hang in for the ride. You could be a year or more. Really, and maybe even longer. Don't get upset with that. That's why I like the herbs, because they'll accelerate that time. I'd really clean out my bowels. If you got a lot of sulfur, you're going to see orange stools coming out of you. And hang in there, my friend. You'll be okay. Yeah, there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Some people are going to work for it. I don't know what to say about it. I was lucky. I didn't go through such radical things, but I have